Hello, all. I was originally going to make this part of our martial arts After Dark series, and we might do some follow up on this video through that. But I just wanted to instead take some time and make this video now and mention a few things. Okay. First of all, I want to talk to you about a little more about this channel, and it figures into what this video is about as well. But I'm not a popularity contest kind of a guy, so I don't really sugarcoat anything. And a lot of my videos at this point, they're very much unscripted, off the cuff, and that's for a reason. I really want to make this channel as sort of a body of some of the things that are important to me that aren't mentioned by others, and have that as a kind of a legacy. And that's more important to me. So I sort of proceeded from that point first. Having said that, I am making plans, looking at alternatives. I will get somebody in here who I can do videos that are a little bit more interesting and demonstrative from a technical point of view. So I haven't forgotten that purpose. But in the meantime, I just want to sort of set the tone here and the priorities. And this video is a perfect example of that, because I'm going to be asking you to be honest with yourself, okay? Now look, you can say anything, or say, you can try to fool yourself, you can try to fool others, but everybody's got to look in the mirror. And when you deal with an art, part of the appeal is that eventually it puts you out into the light, baby. I mean, all your shields gone, and you have to confront your own limitations if you take your art seriously. And that, I'm not talking about just martial arts. I'm also very much interested in cooking, and I can tell you right now that I can cook. I'm a very well-respected chef in certain circles. Do a lot of wonderful things with food. Have had professional experience, and with that being said, I still think I can't really make a really good eggplant parmesan. Now, you may like it. A lot of people say it's delicious, and that's great. But I know what I'm looking for, and in my own particular mind's eye, it's not exactly what I want when I make it. So I'm using that as an example here. You know, Others will be like, "This is so good. How do you?" That's fine. Now, when we deal with martial arts, the stakes are a little higher. And one of the first things to understand is when you're dealing with self protection, you, if you want to succeed, you have to be honest with yourself, okay? And most people aren't. Now, I have heard, um, what is his name? Saif Karman make some wonderful points about this very issue. And he kind of inspired me, to be honest, about this issue because it's so important, especially nowadays, because martial arts is going through a point in its development where a lot of stuff that's being taught is being passed off for stuff that it isn't. And there is a big difference between sports and combatives, and they go in very different directions, okay? You could almost, if you picture a fork in the road where fighting happens, okay? So you practice a martial art for 5 years or so, and you're able to fight, okay? And that's a good thing. And now you're at this fork in the road where which way are you going to go? Okay, you can go into these many competitions, you can become an MMA fighter, you can go into weapons, you can go into the real root of the self-protection aspect. And they're each very different paths, okay? And you have to understand that. Most people won't. And if you go towards self-protection, if you understand danger, you put yourself in those situations, you've trained in those situations, you have to be able to come to grips with those issues. If you don't, you will hurt yourself. You will find out at the wrong time that what you're capable of is not what you thought you were capable of. Okay? So with that in mind, let's talk about a couple of things related to this issue, working from the technical aspects all the way up to the most personal aspects. Okay? Technically speaking, one of the biggest differences is that any kind of sport martial art, you go for position first. Okay? And the reason for that is because in a sports situation, you have an enclosed environment, you know what the variables are, and everybody's using the same skill sets. And because you're using such a limited amount of techniques and your environment is so kind of defined, you have to be able to put yourself in a position before you can exercise a technique. Okay? That is not a bad thing. It simply is a characteristic. So a boxer doesn't go into a boxing match trying to find one punch out of the blue, generally speaking. There's processes that take place. There's setups, okay? There's a feeling out process. There's a way of using different combinations, perhaps, whatever the case may be. And in jiu-jitsu, in sport jiu-jitsu, you try to put the person into a position where their responses are limited because of the position that you put them in, which enables you then to apply your technique, okay? In the street, you have to do things reflexively. Your opponent is not in a similar situation with you in respect to you're both drawing from the same well. You don't know what your opponent is up to, okay? You have to be able to find yourself through your training habits in a position where you can operate. So it's too slow to try to find and put a person into position. Now, a lot of people are going to talk about, well, you get into a fight, you can then work a guy and, choke him out. Or, but that's not, most of the fights like that you could walk away from. So they're not really dangerous in the same sense, okay? They can be if you make them by responding to the situation, but they're not inherently so, okay? The difference is that if I'm in a situation, hey, Benji, where somebody is attacking me and I can't talk my way out of it, I might have to protect others, I may not feel so good, whatever the case is, I really don't have another option, okay? And I have to have some base to deal with any sudden things that might occur in that situation, okay? I have to understand my distancing, my timing. I have to have trained in certain things that I will do so that I don't get caught blind by somebody just trying to haul off very quickly or trying to stab a knife very quickly. So, different set of variables entirely. All right, as is my policy, we'll keep these under 10 minutes, okay? And I'm going to go to the second one.